best part nung buong experience ko na to ay yung actual shoot eh. Ang saya-saya ko lang. Parang hindi ako makapaniwala na nangyayari na siya. For any creative person, it's really the jamming that's fun eh.
Her first feature film is screening at the Real Asian Festival. So congratulations for that.
The writing took 5 years. For a story like this, I do believe you need life experience to really show the nuances of life.
I've always known that Janice was a really good producer. She had very good grasp of the stories that mattered to people. Janice and I were colleagues in TV5.
Yeah. 2011 to 2013.
Thank you for remembering. Kasi hindi ko
I
na
was her
maalala.
producer. The first one I've ever executive produced. So it was a lot of first. And coincidentally, this is also my first podcast interview ever.
Ganun ba?
Yeah.
Oh, diba marami kaming first ni Janice?
From being behind the scenes for forever,
Oo.
I don't know, more than 15 years.
Oo.
Now I'm the one,
The subject.
the subject. So it's a strange feeling, but because it's Cherry, it's someone I trust. I'm very happy to be able to do this with you.
Magandang araw sa inyong lahat. Welcome to our podcast. At ang guest natin sa araw na ito ay isang filmmaker, screenwriter, my former colleague and a friend, Janos Victoria. Hi, Janos.
Hi, Cherry.
Welcome to Filipino TV. And you're not a stranger to Toronto.
No, I'm not.
Oo. Yung family mo dito nakatira.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about your connection to Toronto.
Well, my family and my extended family, they first moved to Edmonton. I think there's a huge Filipino community there. So I have a lot of relatives there. And then when my youngest sister went to the University of Toronto, so my parents and my sister also ended up moving with her here.
So sa immediate family mo, ikaw na lang ang nakatira sa Philippines?
Yeah. So hindi ako kasama sa kanila dito when they went. I think
And
more
why?
than 20 years ago. Well, first technicality, no. So when they moved, I had just finished college, and rule-wise, parang kailangan you have to be like a dependent child.
So labas na yung age
Yeah,
mo dun
so
sa
that's
depensa
the
application.
Technical aspect of it. But personally, I think I've always wanted to work in the arts or maybe in culture, ganyan. So I felt I have to be there. Maybe it's very naive of me. I mean, well, I was 21. What else? But I didn't want
There's no
to.
right or wrong decision.
Yeah.
Diba? And
I didn't want to be hyphenated and like looking for identity elsewhere. I wanted to explore what we
root
have.
yourself
Yeah.
in the Philippines.
Yun na agad yung dahilan ko, and even though wala akong siguro extensive explanation, pero inside me I felt it was that.
Sometimes there are no words, you just know.
Yeah.
You feel it, the decision is there. Especially when you decide through instinct, no? And it seems like, well, again, there's no right and wrong decision. Like you wouldn't have known if you moved here or whatever, no? But Janice and I were colleagues in TV5.
Yes.
Diba? Anong year yun?
Oh my gosh. So 2011 to 2013.
Thank you for remembering. Kasi hindi ko na
I was her
maalala.
producer.
Oo, that was a CNN franchise,
Yeah.
CNN Connect. Pero we were making our own stories also, apart from, we didn't just translate the stories from English to Tagalog. Kasi at that time, CNN US, no, Atlanta, opened themselves for franchising all over the world.
It wasn't a direct transmutation of an existing show.
Correct.
We
Okay.
developed based on the materials that we're allowed to use. And we felt that's the kind of format that our local audience in the Philippines would be into. So we had a lot of
She should know she
trivia.
was the producer.
Yeah, I'm part of the the people who developed it.
But that was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun. How long after college did you do that? Were you a new real grad?
No, I
Hindi yun
wasn't.
yung first job
Hindi
mo,
naman.
diba?
That wasn't my first job, but that was the first program where it was the first one I've ever developed the first one I've ever executive produced. So it was a lot of first. And coincidentally, this is also my first podcast interview ever.
Ganun ba?
Yeah.
Oh, di ba marami kaming first ni Janos? But in all fairness, it didn't feel like you were a first-time producer then. And I'm not just saying that. I always, those who know me know that I don't just say things just for the sake of, praising people. At 51 years old, I've lost that. What's the point? But I've always known that Janice was a really good producer. She had very good grasp of the stories that mattered to people. Kasi minsan doon ako nahihirapan sa trabaho dati. Or the challenge is, sometimes hindi nagmamatch yung what I feel the people should know about with what the producers think should be like in the top stories. But that's why I liked working with you and the group at that time. But of course, okay, balik tanaw yon. That was 2011 to 2013.
Gosh.
During that time, you were telling me when we had coffee, you were already interested talaga in documentaries.
Yes. Actually, when we were in TV5 pa, I was assigned. I was really working for UC, which was their parang long reportage
Format.
And then eventually when that was canceled na, I moved on to look for another show that would allow me to pursue documentary.
And that brought you to GMA7.
Yes.
And you did Eyewitness.
Yeah, I did Eyewitness. I was one of the directors and co-writers for 10 years. Yeah. And that allowed me, I think this is related to the first question you had, like why I didn't want to pursue joining my family here at the age of 21. Because I really wanted to learn about the Philippines. So being an eyewitness really helped me do that. Like kung saan ako nakarating dahil sa programa na yon. And yung ginagawa kasi namin ni Cherry, no, pag nasa news or public affairs department kayo nagtatrabaho, yung napupuntahan natin, hindi siya napupuntahan ng turista. Ito talaga yung mga mahirap ma-access na lugar na magbibigay sa'yo ng ibang perspective on life.
Yung hindi mo, kung hindi yun yung trabaho mo, malamang hindi mo mapupuntahan.
O hindi mo nga malalaman
Just a side story, I just remember in one day of coverage, I was able to take 5 different modes of transportation na hindi typical. Na yung isa sa railroad track na
yung pajak.
Oo, pajak, 'di ba? Tapos meron namang nag-aano kami sa bagging just to go to the next town. Yung parang si Tarzan.
Oo, nagra-rappelling ka na.
Oo. Tapos 3 different transportations, yung dalawa by crossing a river. And you wouldn't do those things if you were... That's one of the things where, at least ako, I'm personally very happy in hindsight to have gone through.
Yeah.
Diba? So, in that 10 years of Eyewitness, what were your takeaways in hindsight? Parang anong parte yung nabuo doon to the Janos that is today? Malalim ba?
Ang lalim ng tanong. Ito yung lagi kong nililook forward to na lang. Or pinagdarasal na mangyari. Kasi sa loob ng 10 years, unfortunately, makikita mo na kung gaano karaming beses umuulit yung mga problema sa Pilipinas na na-cover mo na. So, sobrang majaded talaga yung feeling mo. So, ang nililook forward ko is yung surprise. So, for example, hindi ko to makalimutan, yung isang naging subject namin ay ang pangalan sa Agusan Marsh. So may community doon ng mga IPs, and then meron doon isang batang babae na albino siya, so blonde lahat. So bago kami pumunta doon, iniisip ko siguro siya mailap, or alam mo yon, may preconceived notions ka na kung anong character nitong batang to. Pagdating ko doon, she's the complete opposite. Siya yung lapit ng lapit sa mga tao. Siya yung nag-aalok lagi ng tulong sa school. So, sa akin, surprise yun. Kasi, kabaligtaran nung ine-expect nating stereotype.
Yes.
So, yun yung nilulook forward ko na this child is really trying to make the most out of her situation and breaking the boundaries that were, set for her. yun yung mga gusto kong
Oo.
nakikita.
Oo.
Kasi hope siya for me eh.
Oo.
Biro mo, in this remote community, may isang bata na ganito yung attitude sa buhay.
Oo.
So I always hope to see something like that. And sporadically meron akong na-encounters na mga ganyang situations.
No, nakakatuwa. Oo nga. Actually, ang I think in my Instagram description, or where did I put it? Let life surprise you. Kasi I also live for those moments. Maybe it's because of what we do. Like,
Yeah.
ang dami mo kasing kino-cover or nakikita mo yung mga bulok sa society. Yung mga kailangan ayusin. That's why we bring it to light, di ba? Yun yung trabaho natin. So we see more of the bad than the good. Maybe that's why we look for these pockets of hope. But in the process of doing it, you weren't naman actively looking for it. Eh. Kasi
No.
nagtatrabaho ka, inisip mo anong script na gagawin ko. Pero pag nakikita mo siya, tumatatak siya. Kasi, these are pleasant surprises. Like, when we went to that area in Tondo before, that area in Tondo na kahit mga pulis hindi pinapasok dahil pwede kang masumpit at hindi ka na makakalabas dun sa komunidad na yun, di ba? But, talking to the people there, yun nga, yung mga Pilipino, may certain connection kayo agad with each other. Na kahit siguro, ewan ko, baka 50 na yung napatay nung kausap ko. Pero pag kausap niya ako, maayos kami. Those things. But like, okay, so the reason Janos is here in Canada, in Toronto specifically, this November, is her first feature film is screening at the Real Asian Festival. So congratulations for that.
Thank you.
And mauubos ba isang oras pag kwento natin yung journey? Like how this film kasi it was more than 10 years in the making.
Yeah.
Sabi mo sa akin?
Siguro umpisahan ko sa huli, sa ending niya, sa conclusion. Yung story kasi nung film is about a middle-aged Japanese man who is thinking about ano yung meaning ng life niya, ano yung halaga niya sa mundo. After niyang ma-witness yung neighbor niya na namatay mag-isa. I think pag naka-enkwentro tayo ng ganon, pag may nabalitaan tayong ganon, na isang taong namatay mag-isa, and in such a way na namatay siya na wala man lang kaalam na namatay siya. Kaya nalaman kasi nagsimula ng mabulok yung katawan, tapos napuno na yung mga mailbox niya. Kung walang naghanap. So mapapaisip ka rin kung ano yung worth mo eh. And yung dinidescribe ko sa'yo ngayon na thoughts, no? I think kailangan din siya ng years para maintindihan. So sa tingin, kaya yun yung in conclusion. Kasi I started this project, I was just in my early 30s. I think I just turned 30 nga eh. So,
40 ka na ba?
Yes,
No.
I'm more.
How did that happen? Okay.
So yun, yung may mga subjects, may mga stories na kailangan mo rin maging emotionally mature or may mga kailangan mo ng life experiences para to do justice na maikwento mo yung isang life na ganito. Kasi hindi ko siya tinitreat na parang it's a film, it's about a life. So this is not this process may not be true for other kinds of stories, but for a story like this, I do believe you need life experience to really show the nuances of life.
Oo. Pero nung naisip mo siya dati, did you already want to make it a film or did it marinate for a long time first before you thought na gagawin ko to ng storya, ng pelikula?
Alam mo kasi pag nagsisimula ka, well, at least in my case, pag nagsisimula ako, I don't have a big grand plan at the start. Ang ganito lang, ang seedling stage niya is meron kang concept, isusulat mo siya as like a storyline, and then you submit it somewhere for I don't know, iba-ibang reasons, no? So, para sa akin, I submitted it into this incubation lab. At natanggap siya doon. Siguro kung hindi siya natanggap doon or walang tumanggap sa kanya, siguro hindi ako ma-encourage to pursue it. Kasi kailangan mo rin yun eh. Kailangan mo nang may maniwala sa'yo.
Oo. Na parang, pwedeng gawing storya talaga.
Na may nakakita
hindi lang ako yung nag-isip na pwedeng mangyari to.
I really admire those people na kayang mag-exist in a vacuum na kahit walang naniniwala, zero, mag-isa,
Oo.
magkukulong sa kwarto, tas magsusulat. Sa akin, malaking push talaga yung gano'n na, so, tuloy-tuloy siya eh. So, nag-submit ako doon, tapos natanggap ako doon. This is called Talents Tokyo. And then, nung pinitch ko siya doon, siya rin yung nakakuha ng project award that year. So, doon siya nagsimula na, baka nga pwedeng gawin.
Concept pa lang.
Oo.
As a concept. Okay.
Oo. So, kaya siya, yun. So, yung itinagal niya is, ako yung may kasalanan. Kasi hindi ko siya maisulat ng tama. The writing took 5 years. And then when it was finally ready, nung nagsimula na kaming maghanap ng financing, nagka-COVID naman. Pero, kahit nagka-COVID, hindi ko masasabing excuse yun. Tinuloy-tuloy pa rin namin yung paghahanap ng funding kahit from Zoom. As in halos, basta lahat na ata na pwede naming pitchan, nag-Zoom meeting na kami. Tuloy-tuloy lang kahit na may
This
pandemic.
is for the production budget.
Oo, for the production budget.
Pag ganyan, saan kayo, paano mo nakikita or nade-decide sinong lalapitan for funding?
Well, hindi ako yung nagde-decide nun, yung producers.
Okay.
Ang naitutulong ko on the side of financing is malaki yung contribution ko sa pag-prepare nung mga grant proposals. Like yung kasi our film ended up being supported by the Film Development Council of the Philippines. And then we also got considerable grant from the government of Japan kasi this is a co-production between Japan and the Philippines eh. So doon ako nakakatulong sa kasi for grants kasi mahalaga sa kanila kung ano yung goal mo as a filmmaker. Ano yung gusto mong sabihin. 'Di ba? So importante akong part doon.
And at this point, so may concept na napasa mo siya doon sa what's that incubation lab?
Talents Tokyo.
Talents Tokyo. Wala sa Pilipinas na gano'n. I mean, you had to go to Tokyo.
Purposely, doon ko talaga siya in-apply
okay.
kasi part Japanese yung story. So parang naisip ko na maganda ring ma-gauge na kung may interest ba
ang Japan doon.
Oo, is this a subject na?
Wow.
Pero sa atin, nung time din na yon, wala pa masyadong lab. Remember, more than 10 years ago to. Pero ngayon, marami ng development. Hindi mo marami, pero
at least
meron na rin
options.
locally. Oo. And sa tingin ko, mas mahalaga yon kasi yung tumitingin ng mga storya is naiintindihan nila yung context ng stories. Kasi minsan, pag foreigner yung makakabasa ng Filipino story, hindi naman nila naiintindihan. Syempre, granted, yung mga nuances na maybe isinulat mo doon kasi hindi sila Pinoy. So, mahalaga na may local na rin tayo, incubation labs for film projects.
This is also good because I'm learning from what I'm hearing na parang ano yung process ng isang filmmaker. Baka meron ding mga nakikinig na nag-iisip kung ano yung future. May future ba sa pagiging filmmaker kung yun ang gusto nilang gawin? Ano ba yung mga proseso para mapasali sa mga festivals? Now, as a Filipino audience, for example, that maybe watches movies every now and then, not into production, for example, and then they hear na may Filipino movie na nakapasok or nanalo sa Berlin, for example, or sa Cannes, or sa TIFF, or like you're here now. We feel proud as a nation, but there's no but. We feel proud as a nation, and it's also good to know the process behind it. Diba? So, marami pang hindi nakakaalam nun. Ano ba ibig sabihin pag nag-screen ka sa festival? Ano ba bakit hindi lahat ng, mahirap ba yan? Bakit parang it's so celebrated when when a filmmaker gets to that level? And you also give talks, diba? You've given talks around the world.
If I'm able to attend a screening, definitely make Q&A. So I will also have one here on Saturday.
Pero so yun, no? So kumuha ka ng storya and then you pitched it. And that's not always the same process for every screenwriter, every director, no?
But I would say though, kasi, sige, so bigyan lang kita ng background ngayon sa what's happening in Asia in terms of film production. So, syempre, worldwide naman din, bumaba yung mga budget, talagang medyo may talagang recession in terms. Maski 'di ba, I'm sure nababalitaan niyo yung nangyayari sa LA, 'di ba? Nagkaroon ng maraming layoff ganyan. So this is a global issue, yung pagbagsak talaga ng production budgets. Mas lalong pahirapan. At least in our side of the world sa Southeast Asia. So, narinig mo na co-production yung project ko. Marami na rin sa mga projects ngayon is ganyan ginagawa.
Yeah.
Magbibigay yung mag-a-apply ka ng konting grant sa FDCP, and then merong mga partner, hindi man partners, pero may equivalent sila sa ibang bansa na Southeast Asia, like sa Singapore, meron din silang film commission doon. So pwede ka rin mag-apply doon ng grant. So little by little napupul yung pera. So hindi parang naging creative to survive. So yung mga pelikula na hindi mapopondohan ng mainstream studio system ng mga bansa is may paraan ngayon magawa. So, like yung na-meet mo si Arvin, pareho lang kami ng kumbaga in a way financing ng project. Malaki doon is from grants. Oo.
And you can tap different grants. Like for example, na-mention mo yung Singapore, kahit hindi sila involved dun sa storya, dun sa...
Kahit hindi yun yung main,
Oo, pwede pala. Kahit walang Singaporean production crew, pwede siya.
Requirement yun.
Kailangan meron. Okay.
Pero kumbaga, yung story, hindi kailangan nangyari sa Singapore or may artistang Singaporean. But syempre, may kailangan na participation din yung creative nila, staff or
wow, you can just imagine how to put it all together. I mean, components, pero hindi naman imposible. And if you're gonna work on something anyway, and you know,
this is the way.
Yeah. Okay. So 5 years to write, you were able to pitch it. It got approved, and then your producers were able to get grants. And then the shoot. When was the shoot, and how long was it?
Ang shoot namin is total lang niya ay 16 days. 8 sa Japan and then 8 sa Pilipinas. So for Pinoys, okay na yun na number ng araw. Hindi na yun low budget. Low budget is 7 days. Okay. Pero pag narinig ng ibang tao, yan lang.
Actually, iniisip ko nga, wow, 16 days lang to shoot
maluwag-luwag na yun in terms sa atin. Kasi ganun nga, mababa talaga yung mga budgets.
Oo, doon talaga nagkakatipiran ng budget because every shoot day is so expensive. Diba?
Pero I would say na talagang yung mga producers ng project namin, they did talaga everything para sapat yung oras. Kasi inulan pa kami. So, they really set up the production structure na we got the best crew. So, kahit umulan, halimbawa, tumigil yung 20 minutes yung ulan, masi-set up agad yan. Kasi sobra nilang experience. So, yun yung isang learning ko na minsan, mas okay talaga na mag-invest ka na doon sa
mga taong magaling.
Sa talagang very experienced na magaling. Kasi, kumpara mo yun, magdadagdag ka ng araw. Mas mahal yun.
Mo.
So, I'm very grateful for that. Tsaka, just to add, we were also able to get Filipino investors, o di ba? Kahit na very unusual yung story tungkol ang character Japanese, may naniwala pa rin. So, in a way, I think may changing mindset din naman sa atin. May mas nagtataya na.
Oo, that's good. This Filipino investors group or individuals?
Ano talaga sila? They are really production companies rin naman sa atin. Na on the lookout for to support, I think, alternative storytelling.
And also, looking at possible revenue sila later on, possible profit. Hindi naman puro goodwill yan.
No.
Okay.
It's really an investment, and yun nga, we're working right now to really get distribution.
Para ma-recoup at bumalik yung mga investment nila. Okay, how was it directing Japanese, non-Filipinos? Marunong sila mag-English? May translators?
Hindi. Yung mga assistant directors namin sa Japan ay English speakers na Japanese na talagang pag may mga international production, sila yung itinatap. And they're very
sanay
good.
Sila sa co-prod.
So, yun yung way ko to communicate with the cast and the crew. Now, pagdating naman sa Pilipinas, so may sumamang Japanese AD just for the actor. Kasi importante
Oo.
talaga. Hindi enough yung translator lang kasi maraming technical terms.
Nuances
Oo.
and
Na siguro kung translator ka for business, hindi mo
Oo,
mako-communicate yon. And then
Oo.
we also got a translator for the Filipino cast and crew. Kasi yung cinematographer and lighting director namin ay Japanese rin. Oo. So,
Wow.
oo.
Parang ang saya.
Alam mo, nasanay na ako kasi ilang taon ko na to ginagawa.
Anong ilang the movie?
Oo, so
Okay.
parang nasanay na ako na may translator lagi. Hindi
Hindi ka nasanay. Gusto mo ngayon ng translator.
hindi ako naiinip. Kasi imagine mo, double
Kasi,
time yun eh.
correct.
May sinabi ka, tapos da, di ba?
Tapos may lag bago.
Oo. Sa akin, wala
Bago
na. Ganun na.
tumango
Part
yung
na yan ng
inutusan
buhay
mo.
ko. So, hindi naman ako nahirapan pagdating sa communication.
Oo.
And that's largely because we're very fortunate to find the right combination of people to work together.
And to think, di ba,
It's
the
so
Japanese are
important.
very efficient. I'm just imagining if yung ganung klaseng values nila, they're gonna make it work talaga and not waste time. Yan yung ano nila, di ba? Tama ba? They're very efficient that way na parang things should work. They'll do everything to make things work.
Yes. Ang heavy talaga sa kanila is super tagal nilang mag-pre-production versus ours. Mas matagal talaga sila.
Gusto ko yan. Alam mo yan na nga yung ano sa akin eh. Feeling ko yan yung criticism sa akin. Napakatagal ko mag-pre-production. Kasi pag talagang plakado yung pre-production mo, ang sarap na alam mo every single detail at every single any striations of what could happen, meron ka ng plinano. Okay, yeah. So
ako rin, hindi din naman ako sanay sa ganon. So, both departments, kumbaga, the Filipino side and the Japanese side, we really found a middle ground na hindi naman sobrang OA na
Oo.
na para smooth lahat. So, okay naman kasi very happy with each other sila nung nagpunta na sila sa Pilipinas. Oo.
Ano yung pinaka-challenging for you to direct this film?
Alam mo yung best part nung buong experience ko na to ay yung actual shoot eh. Ang saya-saya ko lang. Parang hindi ako makapaniwala na nangyayari na siya. Kasi lahat nung parang hardship, yung challenges, ay nangyari
Came
doon sa before that.
Yeah.
Yun nga,
parang inirim mo na yung anak mo.
Yung hirap na hirap ako talaga magsulat and then getting people to, alam mo yun, people to be on board. Lahat yun, yun yung mahirap. The fact, tapos nung finally nag-shoot na, nakita mo na nangyayari na siya, I think I could not be happier. And hindi ko siya nakikita as like as an end product na yung shoot. Why I'm so happy is because we ended up working with the people who like working with each other, and we bound, alam mo yun, kindred spirit, so to speak. Parang we bounced off ideas of each other. Kaya hindi siya mahirap. Madali kaming nagkakaintindihan. May rapport kami. So yun yung best case scenario na after all those years na struggle ko, nangyari na I collaborated with people na talagang who see eye to eye.
Oo. Ni-reward ka na after all your
kasi
your
alam mo,
hardships trying to put the film
for
into
any
fruition.
creative person, it's really the jamming that's fun eh.
Oo nga.
So, yung shoot is the jamming, kumbaga sa banda.
Musikero.
Yun. Like, okay, may problem, paano to i-shoot, ganyan. Or hindi ko alam paano i-draw out yung mga ganitong performance, ganyan. So, hindi ako ganun ako kakomportable sa kanila na hindi ako nag-alinlangan, to be honest. Pag medyo hindi ko alam agad yung solution, I ask for their tips on suggestions.
Anong part naman tong after the film? If that was like the jamming part, is it ngayon, now that you're going around and promoting it and then later on distributing it, what stage are you in now?
I'm in a grateful stage. Okay. Kasi kanina, you kind of brushed up on this idea na when we see Filipino films getting recognized, syempre, as a Filipino, there's no other way to feel but, to be proud. And I have to say lang na for on our part na kami yung nakakaroon din ng opportunities na ma-share yung work. Gusto ko lang sabihin na it's really such a leap. It almost feels like you're plucked out of nowhere and put under the spotlight all of a sudden. And may feeling ka ng disbelief nga eh. Hindi naman yung sinasabi nilang imposter syndrome. It's just that now that I know what it takes to get there, it's just like, whoa, it feels impossible. Like if I do another one now, I wouldn't know how. Parang it's really tough. Kasi una, yun nga, ang dami-dami ng pelikula sa mundo at the projects, and yun nga na ano siya, 'di ba, na democratize with equipment.
Right.
Like, I mean, yung the way iPhone now is being sold, talagang yung mga advertising niya, yun na yung pang-shoot ng pelikula. Yun na talaga yung pinopromote nila. So the more na mas maraming films and stories, the more mas mahirap kang magkaka-break. Oo. So actually, I feel pretty sober about the whole thing now, in the sense na I don't think about it na ito na yung break ko. It's more of, I just wanna keep the film alive. That's what I'm most happy about, kasi napapalabas siya. Alam mo kasi, pag first time filmmaker, and especially kung bata, I mean, tayo kasi nagkaroon tayo ng experience na nag-produce naman ako for TV for a long time. I still do. We sometimes think na if you're young, you think that you make something and that's it. The rest will take care of itself. That's not how it works. I know that the best thing that can happen is for the film to stay alive. So that's all I'm focused on right now, keeping it alive. So what's a way to keep it alive? Or here, like every time there's an opportunity for me to go talk about it, I really do my best. Kasi the film has to stay alive. That's really what the focus should be. And I think the producers and I, one of the reasons why we were able to stay together for such a long time, okay? Like, yung mga producers, ito katrabaho ko na sila ng a minimum of 6 to 10 years. We are looking at it as our baby eh. So, ano yung best for the baby? Hindi yung best for each other. That's how we make decisions.
Pero buti they stood by you through those years, no? Yung parang hindi ka binigyan ng deadline na kailangan by this time, tapos na to.
Kasi hindi talaga normal yung process na pinagdaanan ko. So, iba-iba yan.
Yun na nga, I'm thinking you were you were a purist when it comes to this film, na even because of the topic, you knew that hindi siya pwedeng agad-agad sulatin. It takes a certain kind of
I didn't
experience.
know that. That's the conclusion now. That's why I said I'm gonna start at the end. That's my realization. But during all those years, of course, if you had given me $1 million, I would shoot it. But it won't probably be what it turned out to be. Kasi I didn't have the strength, and the understanding wasn't there yet. So it was necessary, but it's a realization you can only have after.
So sa susunod mong film, and you do intend to make another feature film?
The intention is there. Let's see if the budget will come. So, I think all filmmakers or all storytellers, meron lahat yan, baka ikaw rin, di ba? May secret notebook ka na isusulat mo yung mga gusto mong i-pursue in the future. So, kahit hindi ko pa naman tapos yung first feature, syempre, throughout time, sinusulat mo na dun yung mga, maganda tong i-explore. So, meron akong ganun. And pag, na-exhaust ko na yung kaya kong magawa pa for the film, then I'm gonna be able na to concentrate
on the
next story.
And is it okay for you that it takes this long, or feeling mo?
I think hindi
Kasi
na.
I'm getting the impression from you na talagang nahinog tong storya na to. And I appreciate, and I know I'm not the only viewer, and maybe not even just a viewer, but as a human, no, that processes, yung respect for the process. Yung mga unang panahon nung ginawa ni Gaudi yung Basilica na yun, namatay na lang siya and all. Yung mga, it takes a lifetime to make a masterpiece, or maybe okay, fine, not a lifetime, but not rushing things. The world is too rushed. That's my beef with the world. If it matters, I don't know who's listening or can make changes about that, but the world is too fast. And sometimes humanity is not equipped to be that fast. If we are to make the best of who we are. Na minsan, I purposely tell myself, slow down. Bleep it with the world. I will marinate my process because I want a result that will satisfy me. So parang ako, I'm personally glad to hear that it took this long because I know that I appreciate the process. So the next one, so when I ask the next one, will it be this long? I don't want it to be rushed, but like what are your thoughts about your about the length of your future projects?
So earlier I talked about nga na one big reason why I couldn't write it well was it's largely due to my understanding of life also. And then yung documentary background ko, which is a strength, but it can also hinder you if you're writing fiction. Kasi ang nangyari...
to make it clear, this is fiction. This is not a
fiction.
documentary.
I didn't make a documentary. It's a fiction film. Pag documentary kasi is talagang research galore ka,
Yes.
di ba? So, mining every possible information. Ang nangyari sa akin for the longest time was I was writing it as a documentary. So, it was full of information and I was trying to fit the character to do to perform all the information I wanted to put in. But in fiction film, it's the other way around. It's the character's point of view of the world at yun lang dapat yung ilagay mo sa storya. Kasi yun lang yung nakikita niya eh. Yun lang yung naiintindihan niya sa mundo. So, this is related to the question you asked me na will it take as long? Ang masasabi ko is I think hindi na kasi at least na-recognize ko na yung
learning ka na
doon pa lang sa
hindi
sa
ito documentary.
Oo, malaking bagay yun.
I can imagine because research is our backbone. It's our
you
skeleton.
have to overcome
and
even with the shooting of the film. So before this is my first feature film pero along the way, just sa 10 years na nakagawa ako ng mga short film, nakahanap ako ng mga grants ganyan. Salamat na lang at meron nung mga short film na yun kasi doon ko talaga isa-isang na-recognize yung mga hindi bad, yung mga documentary practices na nilalagay ko sa shoot ng short film,
so
sa fiction. Hindi talaga, sarang siguro
kaibang genre siya for a reason.
So dahil na daanan ko yung shorts, so nung feature na, at least na-recognize ko na hindi ko gagawin tong proseso na to kasi nga pang-docu siya. So ganun.
Nakailang shorts ka? 6? 7? Where have they screened? And then some of them won awards, right? One or two?
Yeah.
Okay.
They also got screened abroad. So nag-screen meron akong short na nag-screen sa Busan, meron akong short na nag-screen sa Spain. Not so much compared dito sa feature. Mas pinakamarami ito na
ano yung paborito
travel.
mong film project so far? Shorts or feature?
Feature.
It would be this baby, no?
Yeah.
The one you have now.
Only because na-enjoy ko na yung process. Hindi, it's more of yun yung basehan ko kung bakit ko paborito. Yun nga, I was present enough and I had enough awareness of what needs to be done to really be 100% there in the shoot. Yung kasi sa mga short nga, yung sabi ko sa'yo, yung struggle ko is as applying documentary style. Sa magkasalungat, diba?
Bakit Diamonds in the Sand?
Okay. Itong question yan. Actually, yung title na yan ay based sa kanta na Tagalog, na luma. Bato sa Buhangin ni Cinderella. Do you know?
Oo.
So, in English ko lang siya.
Lumang-luma na yun. Parang 70s or something.
Theme song siya nung film.
Okay.
Bato
sa Buhangin. Pero naging diamond yung bato. Kasi...
Yun ang interpretation ko kasi kung ano talaga yung song. Actually, madalas siya atang ginagamit. May mga ibang pelikula rin ginamit na siya as one of their theme songs eh. Sometimes ginamit siya as metaphor for shabu kasi bato. Ako kasi, 'di ba ang buhangin kumikislap siya. Yung parang yung doon nga galing yung glass eh, 'di ba? Pag tinamaan ng kidlat, meron siyang glassworks. Yun siya. So bato sa buhangin para siyang diamonds. Pero ang interpretation ko dun sa song is fake yung mga diamonds. Kasi parang
Oo,
puwet ng
oo.
baso siya eh.
Oo.
So,
Kumikinang siya pero
hindi siya
diamond.
totoong
Oo.
bato.
Oo.
So, may may meaning yun sa akin na nilagay ko yun dun sa film.
Just a time marker, no? When we did this podcast,
Oo.
hindi ko pa napapanood yung film. Sa ano pa siya, a few days from now. So, looking forward to seeing the film. What are your thoughts naman about, because you've been going to the festivals abroad, and I know that the DTI here wants to meet with you, and we had a conversation a few months ago about how the Philippine government can help filmmakers, and specifically here, the DTI in Canada, the DTI in Toronto. They want to know how to help the Filipino filmmakers when they screen here, ganyan. One of the ideas is to have pavilion sa TIFF, sa next year's TIFF. You have been around in the festivals. What are your thoughts about what could help the Filipino filmmakers?
Siguro i-contextualize or lagyan ko ng boundary yung sagot ko dyan. In the sense na help Filipino filmmakers in what? To expose them abroad or to get their work out there. So siguro I'll address muna yung to get the work out there, no? Kasi marami tayong kaya ko kanina sinabi na ang goal ko talaga is to keep the film alive by making sure, well, you cannot even make sure by doing our best to get it screened in as many places as possible, and of course ultimately to be distributed like in our own country. I mean in the countries of production, no? Yun yung gusto ko munang i-address. Kailangan muna siyang maipalabas. Yung mga works natin. Hindi natin kontrolado yung mga film festival, sila yung nagde-decision yan. So, hindi natin yan. Pero ano yung, on our part, what is in our control? Ano yung mga venues, 'di ba? So, para sa akin, yun yung una kong gustong i-address. Magkaroon ng mga accessible venues kung saan sila mapapanood. Hindi lang sa mga, sa film festival, kahit locally sa Pilipinas. Kailangan may mga lugar. So, for example, sa FDCP, meron sila ng mga cinematheques across the country, no? Kung saan pwede kang makapanood. Well, may programa sila na dinadala nila yung world cinema doon, and then once in a while din pinapalabas nila yung mga pelikula na sinusuportahan din nila. Pero sa akin kasi, yung isang ang binanggit sa akin tungkol dyan is kahit dito kung dadalhin mo siya pero hindi naman gustong panoorin ng mga Pinoy kasi kung walang sikat na artista. Ang gusto ko lang i-address yon na this is true naman for everyone. Hindi lang, I think, for Filipino audiences. I think there is the mainstream audiences want mainstream, we cannot expect them to suddenly like independent films, 'di ba? Pero syempre gusto natin agad makita yung result, ay pumunta sila or hindi ganoon kahit sa hindi yan uniquely Filipino problem, no? Kaya sa akin, yung naiisip kong isang paraan is we can start by screening in schools, in film clubs, kasi captured audience siya If we want to create awareness, doon ka muna to begin with, may interest na sa film. Kasi yung mga estudyante na interesado sa film, I'm sure konti pa lang din yung alam nila, if any at all pala, tungkol sa Filipino cinema. Diba?
Oh, you mean globally?
Oo.
Like, expose.
Tayo yung lalapit.
Lapit tayo sa mga film clubs all over the world.
Kasi meron naman tayong mga embassies doon. Para, kasi doon ka muna sa, meron ng interest muna sa film Kasi hindi mo agad talaga makakausap. Alam natin yan, TV background tayo You cannot, di ba? There's a format for talking to mass audiences. And then there's a format for people na meron na talagang may specific interest. Sa akin, yun yung sa tingin ko na isang paraan na i-introduce ng malalim. Kasi itong mga to, gagraduate to, magtatrabaho yan sa industry. Alam na nila kung sino tayo.
Nagkaroon sila ng
magre-reverberate yun.
Exposure na, uy, I saw a Filipino. Just the awareness that Filipinos actually make
good films.
even for that, 'di ba? Alone. Okay.
Kasi usually, baka mas pumunta pa sila doon pag halimbawa, like for example, when I was in London last month for a festival, meron akong classmate na nagtuturo na sa isang university doon. In-invite niya ako doon sa film club nila. Tapos after nung pinalabas yung film, nagkaroon kami ng mahabang talkback session. So, interested sila, paano ba gumawa ng first feature mo? Ano yung mga... So, doon pa lang, may captured audience ka na, na napanood nila yung pelikula mo, nakilala ka nila as a filmmaker. Tatatak na yun sa kanila kasi they're starting out. You will be the first, one of the first people they encounter. Hindi naman si Steven Spielberg yung ibig ko sabihin na we can make filmmaking also relatable and not such a faraway dream.
Kasi minsan ang lofty na agad ng gustong abutin na hindi naman. But we might, or some of those in the decision-making seats, are thinking, that's such a small audience naman. Ba't naman natin pag-aaksayahan ng panahon para maki-coordinate sa ganyan? And also these are the seeds. We were talking kanina, na-mention mo yung grassroots exposure. Again, things take time.
Things take time.
Hindi yung ngayon na bukas biglang gusto nila manood ng Filipino film. Siyempre, kailangan mo muna ipakilala and grow it, like what you were saying kanina, grow it as a brand. Diba? Like Filipino cinema as a brand. You were talking kanina, you were comparing it with Korean pop culture. Na ang tagal nila hinon before it became like that. But now,
everyone knows what that is.
They are, diba? And all over the world. So, it does take time. I think that's one of the things that Filipinos really must realize. A lot of us know this, but still a deeper appreciation of things that take a lot of time, even with our government Kasi hindi tayo magpopolitika, okay, mag-alala. We're not gonna go there. But it's just like long-term plans, a long-term plan on infrastructure, a long-term plan. Nobody wants to touch long-term because it takes too long.
Mahirap. Gusto lahat may result na maibida na agad. Kumbaga. I mean, that's understandable, of course, but yun nga building a brand is not overnight.
Correct. Kung tayo rin na botante, dapat hindi rin yun yung expect natin. Na, bukas may pinanamis sa akin, may basketball court. Yeah, basketball court lang ang nagagawa Kasi yun lang ang posibleng next week meron na. Kahit bukas meron na.
Totoo.
Pero yun nga, if you want, for example, matanggalan traffic sa Metro Manila, magsisimula ka ngayon, hindi generation mo makikinabang dyan. Baka apo mo na. Pero at least merong sinisimulan. Kasi hindi talaga ganun kabilis. So yun. So again, we're not gonna get into politics. But yeah, anything else that you want to share na hindi ko natanong? Kasi nga sinasabi ko nga kay Janos, one of the goals when we thought of putting up this podcast is to really document the history of a person. I think this show, when it was conceptualized, I wanted it to be part of the history of a person. Kung ano yung... Ngayon kasi digital na, nandyan na, bababalikan mo. Pwedeng panoorin ng apo ni Janos in, so many years from now. So this is you, this is your auntie, this is your lola, this is me. Yeah, I guess in that perspective, anything else that I forgot to ask? Wait, meron palang isa, because you said that this is not your full-time thing. So you're still working, I still work in media. Is not your full-time job.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you do now?
I actually produce a podcast in the Philippines.
Oh, okay.
So
I didn't know that.
You were telling me about the trust or the equity of your show here is about a history of a person. So I wanted to add to that. And maybe we can end with that, with this. So, for the longest time, behind the camera. So for me, it is a very interesting time because it's the first time that I'm in a podcast and I'm the subject. So my history is from being behind the scenes for forever. I don't know, more than 15 years. Now I'm the subject. Yeah. So it's a strange feeling, but because it's Cherry, it's someone I trust. I'm very happy to be able to do this with you. Yeah.
Oh, no, thank you. Isa rin yan na lahat tayo, meron tayong thoughts na wala lang nagtatanong. Na parang minsan gusto kita iupo, sige, yung ikaw lang, it's about you. It's about like your thoughts. What are the things that maybe just people just don't ask? That's why I ask you, meron pa ba akong hindi na tanong na baka something in your mind that you've been wanting to say or you didn't know you wanted to say? But
No, that's the history from 15 years behind the camera. Now I'm a subject.
well, I am glad
Thank
to
you.
have been the one to have
Yeah.
put you in the spotlight. Thank you so much, Janus, on that note.
Thank you.
Good luck on the film.
Yes.
And it's already a success on its own. Kahit na imposible namang walang manood, pero kahit na hindi siya maging successful, how people define success. But congratulations that the process, the fact that you stood with it, the fact that you had enough respect to the story to take that long to develop it, the fact na pinanganak mo na siya at nakadirect ka in 2 different countries. Yeah, I'm so proud. I'm so proud
Okay,
that
now-
I worked with you before and now. Sabi sa inyo alam ko talaga si Janus dati. Magaling tong batang to Tapos 40 years old na pala yung batang to. Ibig sabihin mas matanda ako. Okay.
Siguro last, yun, because you brought that, I just have one last note. You mentioned kasi success, no? And for anybody na listeners mo na gustong maging filmmaker, this is the success that I feel now. The success is really finishing your film, number 1. And number 2, liking what you made. You're happy with what you made. Kasi that's the only thing you can control. Kung saan-saan siya ipalabas, kung madidistribute, kung magiging milyonaryo ka ba after, magiging blockbuster ba siya, wala yan sa kamay mo. Kaya ang kailangan nating, as creators, ang kailangan nating bigyan ng pansin at halaga is masaya ba tayo do sa naging kinalabasan nung gusto nating gawin. Yun.
Okay, on that note, Diamonds in the Sands. Sana makatch pa natin. We'll stay tuned on where we can catch it after the Real Asian Festival. But if we ever come out with this before,
We will
Yeah,
be
go
in, the week after Real Asian, we'll be having our Philippine premiere in Q Cinema Film Festival, Quezon City. In the Philippines.
Okay. Sige. So, Q Cinema, Quezon City. Is there a date?
Yeah,
Already?
our first screening there is November 15 in Gateway.
Ayun. Okay. Hindi ako makapunta doon. Pero at least I'll be able to watch it here in Toronto. Thank you so much, Janus.
Thank you.
On that note, we'll end this podcast and we'll see you again next week.